Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Our Voice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. I'm one half of the host here, Chad Bumgarner. I got the other half with me, my main man, Pete Hunt.
And as always, Chad, our podcast is brought to you by CDB Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And also, folks, if there's a topic that you want to hear us weigh in about, or if you want to give us tips on how we can improve our podcast for your listening and viewing pleasures, please do not hesitate to contact us at our email address at ourvoice360.com. That's ourvoice360 at gmail.com. Excuse me. Ourvoice360 at gmail.com. Ooh. Man, okay, it's been a day. It's been a day. All right, folks. And also, please, guys, if you can like and subscribe, hit the like button, subscribe, and share the videos with your friends, family, and all that good stuff. We are trying to get to at least 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and we need you guys' help. So if you could kindly do that, we would greatly, greatly appreciate that. All right. All right, guys, this week's topics are going to be pretty interesting. We're talking about Mr. Yuseff Salaam. He wins New York City council seat. If you guys do not remember, he was part of the original Central Park Five that was eventually exonerated over an alleged rape that they accused him and four of the men of doing, only to be exonerated of that. He has now won the New York City council seat, representing the Democratic Party in that. So we're going to discuss that and look at his full circle trip from, just being an innocent person accused of something that he did not commit, doing time and going through that dark period of his life, only to come out better and stronger, winning the case. And now, he's a council city member. So we'll talk about him, and then we'll also talk about this report that was put on the Root back on November 3rd. It was published, and it's entitled "Reparations for Black People Across the World." This United Nations body thinks so. There was a report that was put together discussing the legitimacy of Black people all over the world, that should have reparations for, past sins of the world, colonization and slavery and all this other stuff that have put Black people in various situations to whereas it's very challenging for them to succeed and have a successful life compared to, their European and other counterparts. So we're going to dive into that as well. So two great topics we feel like you guys may be interested in. Hopefully you will be. And Pete, without further ado, let's get into it, man. So let's go back to Mr. Yuseff, exonerated with the original Central Park Five. Yuseff Salaam, wins New York City Council seat for Harlem, right? Harlem, yeah.
Yes, yeah, Harlem.
Yeah. Now this victory comes more than 2 decades after DNA evidence was used to overturn the convictions of Mr. Salaam and four other Black Latino men in a 1989 rape and beating of a white jogger in Central Park. Salaam was arrested at age 15 and imprisoned for almost 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And this win, I know in a quote, I guess the press was talking to him, and this win to be on the city council, he was saying, for me, this means that we can really become our ancestors' wildest dreams. That case that he was exonerated in, the city ultimately agreed in a legal settlement to pay the exonerated men $41 million. So to me, no amount of money can replace, your time that you lost in society with your family and friends, your dignity, your respect. You know what I'm saying? Because even though he was exonerated, it's still a blemish. I don't care how you look at it, because that was on him. I mean, that was put on him and four other young men, even though they were set free and wrongly accused.
Right.
It will always be in history that this young man then at the age of 15 had to serve 7 years that he should not have served, because the detectives in that department did a real janky job, a half-ass job, excuse me, of
Hmm.
doing their due diligence and going to find the correct person or people who did this cruel act. Instead, they
Hmm.
just wanted to place it on some black and brown men and call it a day. And
Yeah.
to me, I mean, he has every right to be upset and angry, but that I'm pretty sure this is a God-fearing man. I don't want to estimate too much because I don't know a lot about the brother, but he doesn't seem bitter. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
came out,
Hmm.
he became a productive citizen of society, and as you can see, he's paid his dues in Harlem. He's gone to meetings and showed that he can make a difference by being on the city council, and it looks like
Hmm.
Harlem believes him because he was now voted to be on the city council. So
Right.
um, the the full circle in this is pretty much a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
And I'll let Pete go ahead.
But yeah, I was just going to chime in and say, I mean,
Yeah,
can you imagine being 15 years old, knowing that you didn't do anything,
right.
what you're being accused of, and you're 15 years old, a child. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
are,
Yep.
and the powers that be say that you did whatever atrocity, whatever crime, and you know in your heart you didn't do it, and then to have to serve prison time and sit in prison over something you know you didn't do.
Not only that, Pete, but you're a
Mhm.
child in a grown man's prison. That's
That's
got
what
to
I'm
be
saying.
traumatic. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like a lot of cases we've been seeing here over the last 10, 15, 20 years that, when DNA evidence is introduced and a lot of black men have been exonerated of the crimes after spending 7, 10, 15, 20, 25 years in prison for a crime they didn't commit. And like you said, Chad, you can't get that time back.
Right.
I don't care how much money you break me off. I can't get that. Excuse me. I can't get that time back. Like you said, Chad, with friends and family and loved ones. It's just
How many
it's just
birthdays did you
unbelievable.
miss? How many
Right,
graduations did you miss? You know what I'm saying?
right, right, right. Then you have somebody who uh, was putting out full page ads about bringing back the death penalty.
Yeah.
45. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
bringing back the death penalty and this, that, and the third, and they should be killed and this and these young men did nothing. They did absolutely nothing.
That's right.
And that guy has still not apologized to these men.
To this day.
To this day, will not apologize for basically
Being wrong.
being wrong and spearheading basically them getting the punishment that they got. You see what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
just it's crazy, but what a great day for Mr. Salam. What a great day for him to go from falsely accused, imprisoned, and then now he's on the city council in Harlem. Man, it's a great day,
That is
and
a
you can't.
great
Yeah.
response
Hmm.
to 45 and his full page ads on bringing
Hmm.
back the death penalty. This is a great response.
And
You
then
know what I'm
then
saying?
after 45 was arrested in New York, he had a response to that as well. Like, this guy was the same person that put full page ads to try to get me killed, and now he's been arrested.
Mm.
So it really truly came full circle.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really came full circle.
And the funny thing is, Mr. Salam is in his full right to really be petty at this moment. Be like, yeah, should we bring back the death
Extra
penalty?
petty, extra petty. Because I know me, I haven't arrived yet. I know what I would be doing. I would
Yeah.
be putting out full page ads because man,
Yeah.
excuse
I'd
me.
be like, do we all agree now with Donald Trump that we should put out
Yeah,
we
yeah,
bring back
yeah.
the death penalty?
Bring the death penalty back. Yeah, for financial crimes. I think we
Mm,
needed that. See, I'm that
mm,
petty. I'm petty like that.
mm.
Petty LaBelle, Petty Jackson. That's
I
what
remember
I
watching the documentary on the uh the Central Five, man, and I remember because they were saying these young men were being interrogated without their parents because of course
right.
at that time they were underage, so they were
Mm-hmm.
being interrogated
Mm-hmm.
immensely under pressure and being coerced to say that they did it just so they could get
Right.
something to eat or to say that they could go home, or I forgot
Right.
what it was. If you
Mm-hmm.
just say you did it, then you can do da or whatever. But
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
was that right there should have allowed the case to be dropped
Oh
because
no,
you
no,
can't
not when
interview a minor without the
no, not when
parent.
you now when you talking about black folk and they have already pinpoint you to doing something to a white person. No, there's no rules. All rules are thrown out the window. No, a rape of a white woman, and we have you pinned that we're going to say you did it. No, there's no escaping. There's no rules after that. Mm-mm, mm-mm. So
Mm-hmm.
again, in that time period and today, if the same thing could happen today in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
if a white woman gets raped somewhere and they have pinpoint five black men. Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be the same thing. I don't care nothing about your parents being here. I don't care about you being a minor. There's no rules. All gloves are off at that point.
But Pete, do you
So
remember? Do you remember the young man? Trying to remember. He was a young, fluent white man. Well, boy, I guess he was in college. He was a swimmer,
hmm hmm
and he took advantage of this girl and left her behind the dumpsters or whatever.
behind the dumpster.
Remember that?
Oh
And the
yeah.
judge said
What he
that
say?
prison or jail would be too traumatic
Too
for the young
hard. Too
man,
traumatic for him.
and so
He
he got
raped.
what? Not
He got probation.
probation. He got
Yeah.
probation.
hmm He raped an unconscious woman and left her behind a dumpster.
Hmm.
And jail would be too harsh for him. Let that sink in. Compared to, we think you raped a white woman. We gonna
You were
charge you
nowhere in
for
the
it.
area,
We gonna say that you raped a white woman,
right?
and we gonna throw the book at you, and then you have white folk like 45 talking about now bring back the death penalty. Okay, that's. There's two justice systems.
And
There
neither
you
one
go,
of them
for
worked for us.
neither one, neither
Neither
one.
one. But it's like my man, the writer. Now I can't think of his name. We talked about him last week. The black writer.
Ta-Nehisi
Said
Coates.
sorry. No, not Tahasi. But his quote was to be
Oh, Kwame
black in
Ture.
nope. To be black in America is to be frustrated and infuriated every
Okay,
day.
yeah.
I'm paraphrasing. But
Right.
now I can't think of his name. I
James
am
Baldwin.
not your Negro. Yes,
Yeah, James
James
Baldwin.
Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yes. That quote seared my brain.
Oh yeah.
And
hmm
he has a bunch of quotes, but that one right there
Yeah.
is the not the epitome, but and it's not even an anthem because an anthem is positive, I believe, but it's the tag
hmm
for black people across the
Oh
world,
yeah, for
not just
sure.
America.
For sure.
He said to be black in America, but I'm
hmm
pretty sure that's legitimate everywhere
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
because to live in a place like America and to see the double standard,
hmm
and
And for people.
at times it would try they would try to be subtle. But now it's back towards the age of it's in your face. And so
hmm
what?
hmm and for people to see it and then look the other way and then say, nah, that's not that's not true. I mean, it's laughable actually, Chad. I mean, because you see it, other people see it. That the people that don't look like us, they see it, but they turn a blind eye to it because we
They don't
we
want to be ostracized in their community.
yeah, and then to them we're not worth anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, like I said, this brother has really come full circle to make a extremely life changing negative circumstance
Hmm.
into a positive one. for
And the
sure.
thing
That that
and the thing about that is, Pete, like I said, now all five gentlemen settled. Well, not settled. Well, yeah, they did settle after the court hearing for $41 million,
mm-hmm,
right?
right.
So he could have took his money and went somewhere and sat down for the rest of his life and like, you know what,
Mm-hmm,
I'm done.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But instead,
And
he
you
wanted
couldn't
to.
blame him. And you couldn't
No,
blame him if
not
he
at
did.
all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But instead, he got his money. I don't know what he did with it. That's his business.
Mm-hmm,
But then he turns around and decides, I want to serve my community
right.
and get on the city council.
Mm-hmm.
This same system that pretty much did him wrong.
Oh yeah.
It's a part of this system. Excuse me. It's a part
Mm-hmm.
of this system that did him and the four other gentlemen wrong. He wants to come back now and get it and be a part of that. Part of me is like, why?
Mm-hmm.
But then part of me is like, I understand. Because if there's
Right.
any change that's going to be made, we have to get involved and be a part of it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly right.
We have to be a part of it. And being in that and being on the council affords him the ability to
Mm-hmm.
help look at the system that's in place, policies, rules that are in place, and say, hey, these need to be amended. These need to be
Right.
addressed. These
Mm-hmm.
are racial policies. Whatever the case is. And I'm hoping that's his. I'm hoping that's his heart's desire to really get in there and
Yeah.
make policies for all people and
Mm-hmm.
not just some targeting just to pad somebody's pocket or
Right.
eliminate a certain people from a certain area just so that area can become more valuable once you drive them out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was really conflicted with that. Why would he want to run for city council? Why would he want to do that? But like I said, part of me is like why, but then the other part is like, okay, I see.
Yeah.
That's a great way to come back and see. Let me show y'all where y'all went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
also at
see
the
if I
same
can make
time
a
it could be like
difference.
right, and then at the same time it's like,
Mm.
well, I want to get in here and make sure that no other young black or brown person goes through what I just went through.
Right. Right.
So I commend Brother Salaam
Mm-hmm.
on his election. I really hope he is up for the task, and I really hope he can fulfill his duties to the best of his ability
Right.
and make that Harlem district proud that they elected
Mm-hmm.
him. I'm really hoping and expecting big things from this brother because he has a lot of experience to pull from.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He really has a lot of experience to pull from, and then hopefully with the other city council members, he can kind of enlighten them
Mm-hmm.
to whereas they might be not well informed, so
Right.
they can help make that district of Harlem a little better. So
Right.
again, kudos to Mr. Yuseff Salaam winning the New York City council seat in Central Harlem District. Wishing him and his district the best of luck
Mm-hmm.
in their future endeavors there. So anything else on this, Pete, man? Because this is great.
Yeah, like again, just congratulations to that brother from where he was to where he is now. It is a great testament to fortitude. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Because
Mhm.
a lot of cats like him could have gave up.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Could have gave up in prison. Could have gave up. I mean, I don't know. I'm stuck there, Pete, with this man and his journey. I'm like, this is a 15-year-old in a prison with
Hmm.
grown men. A
Right.
lot of stuff could have went wrong with this dude
Oh,
and the
oh
other
man, for
guys.
sure. For sure.
You
For
know what I'm
sure.
saying? One of the gentlemen of the the exonerated five lived down here in Atlanta. I don't know what part, but lives down here in Atlanta, and I think he
Hmm.
has some kind of business. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, man, a lot of things could have went wrong in that prison
Hmm.
with
Oh
those
yeah.
young boys.
Yep.
All I can say is God was with each and every one of them, and I'm glad he
Hmm.
kept them and allowed them to get out and really, because some people don't get out. Some people die there, and then they get exonerated. What is it,
After the fact.
posthumously?
Yeah, yeah. After the fact.
After the fact. I mean,
Yeah.
that does the person no good. I mean, it kind of
Hmm.
helps the family. Kind of helps the family because they can sleep at night knowing what we knew all along was right. It just took y'all
Right.
forever to get to that point. But
Hmm.
it does no good for the person that's now in the grave because they
Right.
can't live to, you know,
To
see the
see
rest
it.
of their
Yeah.
freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And to talk about it. So, yeah, man. So, again, best of luck to him and his district.
Hmm.
Hope everything goes well. All right. We're moving on now to the article I was telling you about that was in the Root back published back on November 3rd. Reparations for Black people across the world.
Hmm.
This United Nations body thinks so. So, in its first report, the Permanent Forum of People of African Descent thinks reparations for Black people are a cornerstone of justice in the 21st century. So, before we get into the excuse me, is it the UN? Yeah, United Union,
Yes,
right?
United
United
Nations. Yeah,
Nations.
United
United
Nations.
Nations.
United Nations. Hmm.
Golly. Before we get into that, I want to preface that with California. Maybe a lot of you know, maybe you don't, but California has assembled a task force to research this for all the Black people in California.
Hmm.
Reparations. I know they feel it's deserved, but how do they go about it? You know what I'm saying? So I think that California is working on that. They're researching the specific injustice done against Black people and creating the best way for Black residents to receive payments. Um, I'm hoping it's not all money because I feel like there are other things that we need to that we should have. I'll maybe I'll circle back on that later because I want to get to the um the article. But I wanted to preface the article with that because there are some states here in America that are looking into reparations. It's just gonna be interesting whether it actually gets passed and
Hmm.
how reparations is going to look uh, for us as a people. Um, the United Nations General Assembly received a report from the Permanent Forum of People of African Descent, which is a platform for improving the safety and quality of life and livelihoods of people of African descent, according to United Nations. The report details why reparations are imperative to amend past injustices against people with African ancestry and says that they are, quote, a cornerstone of justice in the 21st century, end quote, according to the Associated Press. Um, Epsy Campbell Starr, a Black woman, I believe,
Hmm.
she is the chairman, and she's saying the legacies of colonialism, enslavement, and apartheid are all still alive today. It's just, end quote. It's and I agree. It's just, the powers that be have just gotten slicker with how they
Yeah.
do it, how they present
Hmm.
it. It's more
Hmm.
subtle. It's
Yeah.
it's more complicated, more difficult to point out. But you can see it if you look hard enough, and if you want to see it, it's there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
I feel what she's saying is definitely accurate, and I love the report, and I want to read this report. Hopefully, I can figure out a way to get my hands on it. Um, she also further claimed that racism has an extreme effect on the mental and physical health of Black people, which has led to increased health disparities. And I totally agree with that.
Yep.
I totally
That
agree
that
with
yeah,
that.
that's for sure. That yeah,
Yeah.
that's a given. That's a given, and it just reminds me of a white gentleman. I can't remember his name. He's in the medical field, and he was talking about and discussing. And I know we're talking about reparations, but
Hmm.
when you're talking about the physical and mental harm that is done from slavery and Jim Crow and redlining and different issues that Black folk have been up against.
Hmm.
He said the reason why they won't give like other countries that's across this world who have insurance for everyone.
Hmm.
Yeah, across the board, like Canada and I think Finland and other countries across this world that has Medicare for everybody. Insurance is for everybody. You don't have to go to it's already paid for by the government. The reason why the United States won't do it is because they don't want Black people to have insurance coverage. So
Right. Right.
we'll cut off our nose to spite our face, even though in most cases it would be cheaper to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just have one flat, everybody has health care situation, but they won't do it because they don't want to insure black people. They don't want black people to have health insurance. And that boggles my mind that as a people who not only built this country, that's right, we built it. Our people,
That's true.
our black ancestors built this country.
Facts.
Every building in Washington, from the White House to the Capitol building to we built all of that. Free labor.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of years of free labor.
Say that again.
Hundreds of years of free labor
Okay.
built this country. You don't want to give black folk insurance coverage. You don't want to give pay from the sins of your forefathers. That your sins of your forefathers against my people. You don't want to give us reparations. I mean, where does it end? What else? I mean, you've stolen everything from us.
But see, the conflict therein, Pete, when talking about reparations for black folks, is the fact that a lot of white folks can't see giving the black people of today the fruits of the labor of the ancestors, because they were like, that was back then. Why do I need to pay you now? That was then. But what they don't understand is a lot of them that live the way they live and have the things they have, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be inherited or they were able to go out and get it, because of the system that was set in place to keep us 3 steps behind and to keep you 3 steps ahead. That's why you're afforded the ability to have what you have and work where you work and have the money you have. Right. You know, they're saying in the next 10 or 15 years that the value for the black family will be zero as far as savings or investments or, whatever. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because I don't want to guess and then people get mad. But basically they were saying that the average white household will have a value 10 times more than what the black household will have. That's what they were saying. So my thing is, like I always, if I engage in conversations with somebody who don't look like me, I said, well, if you look at the years of redlining, why is it that I have a property similar to yours, but it's not as valued as much as yours? Why is that? But as soon as somebody white buys my property, now the value goes up. That's strictly racism, because my property hasn't changed. Nothing on the property has changed. The only thing that's changed, the ownership has changed. So when you got redlining going on, and then you got racism in the workplace, which sometimes can be harder to prove, because when you're trying to get a job, but I've heard this from recruiters a lot of times. They look at your name.
Oh, sure. Oh, for sure.
And if your name is weird to them or of a ethnic descent, it goes in the trash.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of nepotism. I'm gonna hire who I know, and I get that. I would probably do the same thing.
I hire somebody who looks like me.
That looks like me. That's safe.
Or
you know what I'm saying?
Reminds me of myself.
And see, a lot of times, us black people can remind white folks of themselves because all skin folk ain't kin folk. You know what I mean? If I look like a safe bet, if I talk like a safe bet, and I can talk about my background in the work field to back up what I've been doing. But now, would it go different if I was a little darker with some locks or some braids or some braids?
Right.
Would that conversation go different? When you look at someone and make an assumption that they're up to knowing they have bad intentions. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we are always 2 to 3 steps behind.
Right.
And then my thing is, you have a lot of
Hmm.
neighborhoods that poor neighborhoods, and then you stand from afar and say, well, why don't they this and why don't they that?
Hmm.
It's easy for you to say because you have the means, you have
Right.
the finances, you have the connections to do what you need to do. But you're looking at a people in a certain area who don't have that. How do you expect them to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps when you don't even give them the opportunity to have boots?
Right.
And I
Right.
get sick and tired of saying, give them the opportunity, give them the opportunity. Nobody in any of those situations, black or brown, in the lower situation, wants to be given
Hmm.
anything. They want to
Hmm.
earn it.
Earn it. Yeah.
Nobody I
Right.
know, nobody, period, wants to be in poverty. And I'm not saying everybody wants to be filthy rich. Most people
Hmm.
want to be comfortable. They want
Hmm.
to be able to provide for themselves, their family. They want to be able to live in a safe environment, to be able to sit out on their front porch or back porch and not have to worry about gunshots or drug sales or whatever. Yeah,
Hmm.
all of us don't want to be millionaires and living on yacht. It's nice,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
but a lot of us just want to be.
Hmm.
And so this,
Just let me live.
yeah,
Just let me live.
exactly.
Let me live.
I
That's
think
all.
the powers that be fear that if we were on equal ground, it will be no contest.
Oh, you already know what it is. You already know what it is. But Chad, just to piggyback off what you said, I'm just going to let you know who the United States, just the United States, have given reparations to.
The
They
Jews,
gave yeah, they have actually given reparations
12
out.
million a year.
Yeah, they have given reparations out to the Japanese for the
Hmm.
internment camps in World War II.
In California, yep.
They have given reparations to Native Americans.
Yeah,
They have given reparations to the Jewish community after World War II.
still doing it. Go ahead.
And this one might be the kicker.
Mm-mm.
The United States gave slave owners reparations at the after the quote unquote end of slavery
That's right. For loss of property. Yes, I remember.
for loss of property. They
Hmm.
gave slave owners reparations for loss of property
Hmm.
after the ending of slavery.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
you can't give the people who built this country and who were slaves, their ancestors, reparations.
Talk about it.
Again, Chad, that goes back to if you put black on anything,
It's negative.
it's negative. You
Hmm.
put black on anything, it's negative. Now, all of these people suffered atrocities. Some by the United States, others not. But the United States felt it in their heart that, we need to try to make a wrong right. They don't even think about that with black folk.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Oh, look, we can't forget. Look, they won't let us forget the Holocaust. We in a little situation right now
Mm-hmm.
that we may be talking about in a later date.
Mm-hmm.
That's going on across them waters, dealing with Israel and Philistine.
Palestine.
Yeah, and it's just funny to me how everybody else can get what you know reparations and this, that, and the third, and get a heartfelt. I'm so sorry this happened to you, and except us. That was so long ago. Okay, the Civil Rights Act was signed when, Chad, in 1960 what?
64, 65.
Okay, I'm just saying that wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Let's be honest. You know, Jim Crow. I mean, wasn't that far that long ago?
It was not.
Oh, well, redlining is still happening today, but redlining is still going on today.
Well, I just told a couple weeks ago. There's a bank in Florida.
Yeah, we talked about it
We talked about, yeah, we talked about
few
it.
weeks ago. Yeah,
Hmm.
so I don't understand why it's so hard for black folk to get the same level of respect that everybody else does. But again, this narrative of black folk being lazy and trifling and criminals and thugs and thieves and that's what has really pushed this reparation talk basically out of water because the powers that be feel that black folk are lazy.
I don't see
Mind
how
you,
when you got 400
mi-
years.
mind you, we built this country.
Right. We only
Well,
got lazy when we
look,
started demanding to get paid.
exactly. So now we're the lazy ones.
Yeah.
The same group of people that built this country are the lazy ones.
Hmm.
The same group of people that you've raped and pillaged and hung from trees and castrated and raped our women, and we're the bad ones.
Hmm.
We're the ones that's not worth anything. We're the 3/5 of a
Of a
human being,
person. You're right.
of a person. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? After you said all men are created equal under God. Make it make sense, Chad. I can't make it make sense.
I wish I
But
could.
it's just it infuriates me to no end that my ancestors are 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 really looked at as lazy and looked at as, all of these bad stereotypes. Mind you, again, we built this country. Free labor, hundreds of years of free labor. And you have such an issue with just say you're sorry. It's not hard.
They can't do that. They cannot do that.
Just
Because,
get
see, sorry is to admit guilt.
Chad, talk about it. Talk
Saying
about it, Chad.
sorry is to admit guilt, and they don't want to do that. They do
Well,
not.
they didn't do anything.
Mm.
I can't tell you how many white folks can say, I didn't own slaves. That's not the point.
It's not.
Your people did. Like I said, you didn't mind giving the United States didn't mind giving money to slave owners
And the Japanese and the
and the
Native
Japanese
Americans,
and the Native Americans
it's always a problem with us.
and the Jewish community. Why can't you just do what you're supposed to do
Mm-mm.
and give us the reparations that our people are owed? The trillions of dollars that you owe the black community. Not billions, trillions of dollars that you owe the black community.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Do the right thing, as Spike Lee would say.
It's
Just do the right thing.
They can't, because you got to realize, Pete, when they founded this country, it wasn't right. When that Declaration of Independence was penned, it wasn't right,
Right.
because that Declaration of Independence was written for white men who owned land.
Lane. That's it.
So when they say the word men or man in that declaration, in that document, they are referring to white men who owned land.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was never meant for anybody outside of white men. Now, does it need to be rewritten? I think so, but it's not going to happen.
Mm-mm.
So I'm like, MLK, we're going to force you to live up to that.
Yep.
And you're going to make it mean everybody in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to make you make it mean everybody in the United States. And that's what they don't like.
And I mean, and like what's going on with the UN, it goes past the United States. This is
It
something.
does.
This is what the countries that's, especially Europe, that just gone through Africa and just raped and pillaged their way through Africa, taking the resources, killing
England,
black,
Germany, France.
killing black men, women, and children just because they can, and just because they could.
Taking the resources of the land. Yeah.
Exactly.
Setting up shop. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just taking
colonialism.
over. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, so this is nothing just something in the United States. Again, this is something that's world. This is something that the world owns.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. For those of you who are listening to this podcast and watching, I want you to go out and look up this lady. Her name is Jane Elliott.
Hmm.
Jane Elliott. She's an educator.
Hmm.
She was in a room full of white women. I saw this on the YouTube. And she told these white women, I think it was some men in there too, I'm not sure. But she said, raise your hand if you would like to be black.
Yeah, yeah,
Nobody.
yeah,
Yeah.
change places with a black person.
Nobody raised their hand. She said, okay, maybe y'all didn't understand the question. She said, let me ask,
Hmm.
raise your hand if you would like to be black. Nobody raised their hands. She says, okay, that tells me two things. Number one, you don't want to be black. Number two, you know what's going on with black people here and you don't
Hmm.
want to be a part of it.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know how they're treated, but you're not going to do anything about it.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
you talking about making some. I was black and I felt bad. I was like, oh my God, I felt so
Yeah.
bad for those folks. But she's right.
Hmm.
She's right.
Yeah, you know what's going on. I mean, but
I
you just
I
you
don't
fail.
see I don't see color. I see people. I don't want to hear that. And that right
Nah,
there
that makes me
is
walk the other way.
yeah, that right there is the most racist because now you're belittling my color. That's the first thing
Yeah,
you see. Let's not be
yeah.
stupid.
Hmm.
I know that's probably not what you meant, but that's what you said.
Hmm. I want you to see me.
Right.
I want you to see this chocolatey smooth skin. You need to see all of that.
Right.
So it's just it's just hard to explain how it makes black people feel when you when you know you're not going to be respected
Hmm.
or you're
Or
going to
when
be
you
looked
got to
about.
work twice as hard just to feel equal.
Yeah, or you're going to be looked a certain kind of way if you walk into the store. And
Right.
I mean, it's just people understand, but they don't want to recognize it
Hmm.
because it's black folk. Like I said, when you tie black to anything, it's going to 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a negative connotation.
Hmm.
So as black folk, we have to at some point come together and build our own. And I know we have done that before, and those folk has burnt our cities down and came through and killed all our people,
Right.
whether it be Rosewood or Wilmington or Black Wall Street, whatever the case may be. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When we've tried to build our own, you've told us to build our own, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps
Hmm.
and get together with your people. And when we do it, you still come and burn it down.
Can't
So there,
stand to see the fact of us thriving. You
there,
can't.
so it's a lose-lose situation. So in 2023, we as a people, we have to at some point come together.
Hmm.
Everybody's not going to agree on everything. I get it. I get
Hmm.
it. But for the totality of our community and
Right.
the survival of our community and the survival of our people, the survival of our men, women, and children, we have to come together at some point
I just hope it's not too
because
late.
I heard something. Actually, it was yesterday from I can't remember the gentleman's name. He basically said that what he said he heard this from a white gentleman. He was talking with a white gentleman. This is a black man, and he was like, "You know what's wrong with black people?" He said, "Black people, first of all, don't care about each other, and then second of all, and this is coming from the white man, black people think that white people care about what you think or what you do. We don't care about you.
Mm-mm.
We don't think about black people." And he said, therein lies the problem. He said, black people are so worried about what white people think about them. He said, we're not thinking about you. You're one of the last things on our mind. It's on our mind. And I was like, wow. But he was being honest with this black man.
Hmm. Hmm.
We as the white community, we don't think about y'all. So basically, he was saying you need to focus on you
Right.
and your
Instead of worrying about what we think.
and instead of worrying about what we think as white folks, because we don't care about you, we don't think about you, we don't. And I'm like, wow,
Truth
you
hurts.
talk about a slap, you talk about a slap in the face.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah,
see, the reason why it's hard for us to come together, to me, stems back to slavery.
oh yeah,
Master always had a way of dividing us, even when we were slaves.
right. So yeah, man, it's just I just hope that one day our people get respected enough that we know it's not going to happen. We know we're never going to get reparations. It's never going to happen. I mean, California's been studying this. I know at least for over a year,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even 2 years now. What
I
do
was
you
about to say
study?
about 3 or 4. Yeah. What is it?
Yeah,
What else is there to study?
what else is there to study? There's nothing else to study. Stop kicking the can down the road. You're not going to do it because the overwhelming majority doesn't agree with it. Because again, Chad, like you said, that's an admission of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
You gave the Japanese people reparation because you felt guilty.
Mm-hmm.
You gave the Native American people reparations because you felt guilty and that you felt you did them wrong. You gave the Jewish community reparations because you felt guilty. They don't feel guilty with us.
At all.
Our people are not worth guilt to them. Those guilty feelings, our people are not worth that. Because again, we're not respected. They don't respect us. They don't think about us.
Well,
So again, like I said earlier, this is a situation where they're not going to do it. They can talk about reparations all day long. Do we deserve our people deserve reparations? Heck yeah. Trillions of dollars of reparations.
mm-hmm.
But there's no respect for our people.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping with this report with the UN or with the permanent forum
Mm-hmm.
that they provided to the UN, I'm hoping that the UN really takes it to heart and reviews this report and really acts on it.
All right.
The report also recommended that every member of United Nations educate themselves on the history of enslavement and colonialism of African people across the world in hopes that they will understand their role in contributing to racism
Mm-hmm.
on a global and local on global and local levels.
Mm-hmm.
This again according to the Associated Press. So again, I'm hoping United Nations really takes a look at this report and tries to figure out like, yo, we've got a lot of work to do.
But Chad, they
We got a
already
lot of
know
work.
but they already know.
Mm-hmm.
They already know. So again, I mean, it looks nice and the report looks good and the article is it breaks it down really well. But let's be real. Let's be real. If you wanted to do something, something would have already been done.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to give you reports. You don't have to study anything. You knew you were wrong when you did it. Just compensate my people.
Well, you gotta look at it like this too, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Then and now. See, in order to be horrific like that, back in the days of slavery, in order to be so horrific to a people, rule number one is you can't look at them as people.
There you go.
Because there's no way
There you
you
go.
can do the things that you did to the Africans and look at them as a people. They didn't see them as a people. They saw them as some type of animal or
Animal.
subhuman.
Yeah. Subhuman. Yeah.
So
Animal.
when you look
Exactly.
look at them as subhuman / animal and not on your level, in their mind it's easier to do what you do to them. You can sleep
Mm-hmm.
at night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
People of today have, for the most part, have seen the error of the ways, but they're too proud
Mm-hmm.
to say that, my ancestors were idiots. They were dead wrong. And I feel bad about that. And then a lot of people today, for some reason, they think they're being targeted. And I'm like, how can you in your right mind? How can we target you? You weren't there. We're not stupid. We know you were
hmm
not there. It
hmm
was your ancestors.
Oh, Chad, that was so long ago.
Well, here's the deal. Never forget 9/11, right?
Wow. Chad, don't you go there.
Never forget 9/11. Never forget the Holocaust. Okay?
hmm
Slavery. When y'all gonna let that go?
Let it go, man. Come on, man. Why don't y'all let that
Let
go?
it go. That, let that go. But the Holocaust and 9/11,
You
you
better,
better not you better not
you
fix your
better
mouth to
not.
say let it go. You better not.
My thing is this. Let's be real. I mean, compared to slavery, that was nothing. Honestly, we lost 8 million people in the slave in transatlantic slave.
Trade, yeah.
We lost 8 million Africans.
And that's just in the water.
That's in the water. That's from transport from Africa to here. So that's not counting
The
the
millions
countless
that was
that was slaughtered
right.
here.
And the Holocaust
And
lasted how long? No, I mean, let's be clear. No shade to the Holocaust because that was an atrocity. It really
definitely an
was.
atrocity. Yes.
So let's be clear on that. But
Yeah.
that's something you don't want to compare apples to apples on. That's all I'm gonna say. You really don't want to go there.
Mm.
You don't want to. You don't want to do that.
We have to forget. We have to.
Yeah.
That
We
was
have to
such a
let
long
go.
time. We have to let it go. We have to
That's a
forgive.
slap in the face to my ancestors when you say that.
Chad, what you talking about?
That so I just need to just when I'm meditating or whatever, just connect with my ancestors and be like, I love y'all, but that was back in the day. Y'all ain't know no better. Y'all we just gonna let it go. What? Because a lot of the things that they did on top of dying gives us blacks the ability today to do what we're able to do now and
Right.
not be hung up or strung or shot dead in the street, which to some extent is still happening, but not as
hmm
prevalent as it was back then.
hmm They're
But
not having. They're not having picnics. Oh,
mm,
that's a whole nother word on that show could take another hour about picnics and what that really means. And
yeah,
okay, we can't.
yeah, let's
Yeah, we can't have history lessons on here.
yeah, no, we can't do that.
But yeah, man, it's just as black folk, just do the right thing. You know you owe us. You know you owe us
Hmm.
for the hundreds of years of free labor. You know you owe us. And like I said, Chad, we are not respected enough as a people. They don't look at black people as something as a people to be respected.
Hmm.
Because if you did respect us, you would do right by us.
Hmm.
If you did respect my people, you would do right by us and do what
True.
you're supposed to do. But again, like you said earlier, that's an admission of guilt,
Hmm.
and we're not worth those guilty feelings. Our
Yep.
people are not worth those guilty feelings.
Now, because first of all, we have to move back up to human status.
Right,
Once
right.
we get there, then the admission of guilt and the sorrow, like they
Then
have for
we'll
the
think about it. Look,
Japanese and the Jews, then
yeah.
we
Then we'll
can
think
get
about
that.
it. Then
Hmm.
we'll think about it. We'll think about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
again, it's just something that is owed to our people.
Hmm.
And if folk that don't look like us watch this video today, it may rub you the wrong way, but this is just facts.
That's all
This
it
is
is.
just facts. It's just facts, and it's just real life. And this is coming from two black men
Yep.
who've seen
Racism
it.
in our
We're
own
not
time.
in our own time. I mean, we're not old by any
Mm-mm.
means. We're
Mm-mm.
not old by it, but we've dealt with our own level of racism. Maybe not the racism of our parents or our parents' parents, or
Right.
even back, even our forefathers that were brought here on those slave ships. But we've faced our own level
Mm-hmm.
of racism, so it hasn't gone anywhere,
Nope.
and it's not going anywhere. But all we ask as a people, just respect us as a people. That's all, and give us what is owed.
Mm.
Give us what is owed.
Back
You,
pay.
you don't mind giving it to anybody else, but you mind giving it to us.
Mm-hmm.
But okay,
All right, Pete, let's move on. We'll be on this one all day.
bro, what you talking about?
We'll
Trying
be
to
on
tell
this one
you.
for quite a while. So now we're going to move on to the Black Inventor of the Week, and his name is Henry Thomas Sampson. He was born in Jackson, Mississippi in 1934. A prolific inventor and pioneer in the field of nuclear engineering.
Mm,
Okay. Yeah, we bright. I mean, we did give y'all mathematics and astrology. I digress. So, prolific inventor and pioneer in the field of nuclear engineering. It was also a pioneer in technology that is used in modern cell phones. But contrary to widely held belief, he didn't invent the cell phone. Okay. So after high school in Jackson, Mississippi, he graduated from Lanier High School, and then he attended Morehouse College,
mm,
an HBCU in Atlanta for 2 years, and then he transferred to Purdue, um, where he earned his BS degree in chemical engineering in 1956. Continued his studies and got his master's in chemical engineering in 61 at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, basically.
mm-hmm,
Um, and then he continued his graduate studies and pursued a doctorate in nuclear engineering from the University of
mm.
Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Didn't say when that was, but after his master's, he went and got his doctorate. So in 1967, he became the first African American in the United States to earn a PhD in nuclear engineering. That's
Wow,
1967, folks. That
wow.
wasn't far back at all. Not far back at all. Um, So he earned his BS in chemical engineering. He accepted an appointment as a research engineer with the U.S. Naval Weapons Center in China Lake, California. After completing his PhD in nuclear engineering, he accepted a position as a project engineer with the Aerospace Corporation in El Segundo, California. He held the post from 1967 to 1981. He was later appointed Director of Planning and Operations for Aerospace Corporations from 1981 to 1987, where his research team focused on the powering and launching of satellites. Sampson was a prolific inventor who holds several patents, U.S. patents. In 1971, he co-invented the gamma electric cell with George H. Miley. Now, the gamma electric cell converts high radiation energy, or gamma rays, into electricity. Due to his co-invention of the gamma electric cell, Sampson is often mistakenly cited as the inventor of the cell phone. But let's be
Mm,
clear, if it wasn't for this invention, we probably wouldn't have had it, the cell phone.
mm,
Um, he also held several other patents focusing on the development of rocket propellants, fuel for the rockets.
mm.
And then in 73, he invented an improved process of case bonding of propellant grains within a rocket chamber. I can't tell you what that is. That's some old nuclear rocket science stuff, but that's some high level stuff that this brother
Mm,
was on. Um,
mm-hmm.
and so again, his name was Henry Thomas Sampson, basically well known for the invention of the gamma electric cell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. And our people are great, man. Trying to tell you.
Yes, we are. We
Our
got
people are
inventions
great.
all over the place.
Telling you.
I could do an invention every day, one invention every day for years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean something as simple as a folding table to a chair with a desk on it, with a desk for
Mm-hmm.
the old school in the schools where you had the chair and
Mm-hmm.
the desk
Desk
would
with that.
fold on the top.
Right.
That's us. That's us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just hadn't covered that yet, but that's us.
Yeah.
Stoplight, gas mask.
All of that.
We some bad people, man.
Yes,
Some
sir.
bad people. Bad people.
Yes, sir.
All right, now I'm gonna give you the classic album of the week.
No, we gotta go book first.
Oh, the
Then
book
album.
first. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Book, then the
Now we
album.
good.
Okay. Yeah. All right,
All right.
Pete. Book of the week. What we got?
All right. The book of the week is tying in on our last topic about reparations. Uh, from Here to Equality: Reparations for Black Americans in the 21st Century by William Sandy Darty and A. Kristen Mullen. It's a book about, first of all, talking about slavery, of course, and then what Black people are owed as far as reparations are concerned, and how they break down how it should be given to Black people as far as reparations are concerned. So it's a really good book about, the reparations and what Black people are owed and why we are owed reparations to begin with, and then how reparations should be broken down across this is just basically in the United States, but across the United States, again, for all Black people. So really good book about reparations, something that, if you're interested in something like that, it's a book that's a must read. And let me give you that title again: From Here to Equality: Reparations for Black Americans in the 21st Century by William Sandy Darty and A. Kristen Mullen.
Mm. Now that's a must read, because I was sitting here thinking, I
Mhm.
was like, I know earlier when we talked about the article, I said I would possibly circle back about how we would receive
Mhm.
reparations. I don't honestly think, real quick, because I know we got to get on. Honestly, I don't think it should all be money. It should be
Mhm.
money, but not all. But
Right.
I think we should have money. We shouldn't ever have to pay taxes on anything,
Ever.
ever. We should have
Just
free
just
health care.
just that alone.
Yeah,
Just
we should
not
have,
paying taxes alone.
right, on
Can
anything.
you, man?
Free health care. Um, Dang, what was the fourth one? Free health care. No taxes. Now I cannot remember.
For me, it would be land
Oh,
ownership as
oh,
well.
oh.
Mhm.
Unlimited therapy for all Black people. We should get
Okay.
free. We should get free therapy.
Okay.
Maybe that can be lumped into free healthcare. I don't know, but I wanted to make a
Hmm.
distinction about that, because
Right.
I know we got to go, but I briefly read an article about a year ago. This doctor, she was saying how it is possible to receive traits from your ancestors of PTSD,
Yes.
from slavery and any other traumatic situations that
Hmm.
have happened. So that is possible.
Hmm.
That is
Well,
possible. They've proven that.
I've talked about the book post traumatic slave syndrome.
Yes,
That the book, I've highlighted before on our
you did.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, post traumatic slave syndrome. That's another one. Ooh, we
Mm-hmm. Yep.
just and it talks about uh, how traumatic slavery was for our people, not only then, but even now.
Even now.
The
Mm-hmm.
PTSD that we suffer from slavery as Black people.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah,
Yep.
those are the top four things that I would
Mhm.
definitely say. There's more, but those are the top four that I would definitely say for Black people that we should have
Right.
as part of the reparation package. But okay,
Mhm.
so that's Thomas, and then a book. Please pick that book up, guys, and check that out if you're interested
Mhm.
in that information. We'll now move on to the classic album of the week. I was discussing this briefly with Pete off air.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
this is one where, well, like I said earlier, Pete, it's very rare that you have an album where 90% of your songs can be singles,
Right.
and this album is one of those
And
albums.
just about 90% of those off of this album were singles.
Right? Yeah, come to think about
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, folks, the album is entitled "Purple Rain: Prince and the Revolution." I don't know
Ooh.
if y'all can see it. I got the limited edition here. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. This is the one that I mean, like Pete said, legitimately, Prince was already on the map. But
Yeah.
this album and the movie that came
Man.
behind it, Purple Rain, this one put him
Man.
into that other stratosphere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Where it was just him and Mike. Nobody could
Mm.
touch them. It was just him and Mike.
Him and Mike. That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So you got side one,
Freedom
let's
all.
go crazy. Side one, let's go crazy. Let's
Ooh.
get nuts. The next one, Take Me With You.
Mm-hmm.
The Beautiful Ones.
Man, come on. Stop. What we doing? What we doing, Chad? What we doing, Chad? Hmm?
If you ever want to
Hmm?
put your lady in the mood, The Beautiful
Hmm?
Ones.
What we doing, Chad? Hmm?
Computer
It's not.
Blue.
It's 1984 now. Come
This
on
is
now.
1984. Computer
Yes,
Blue.
sir. Let's
And
go.
then Darling Nikki.
Dog. Oh, the,
That's when you want to bring out your freak side. Darling Nikki. Yeah. Side 2. Side 2 was the banger. Well, not to say the side 1 wasn't. No shade to side 1. I'm just saying. Side 2.
Yeah, see,
When
side
Doves
2
Cry.
was.
When
Side
Doves
2
Cry.
was. Whew, yeah.
Yeah. When Doves
Yeah.
Cry. The second one, I Would Die for You.
Only if you want me to.
Only if you want me to.
Oh, only if you want me to now. I'll die for you now. But only if you want me to.
Baby, I'm a Star. Yeah. Baby, I'm a Star. And then the last one, it was the title record. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that
Purple Rain.
I mean, we all know what that is.
Purple Rain is almost a gospel song. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Purple Rain is almost a gospel song.
Honestly, Chad, Purple Rain is a gospel song.
Yeah.
It is a gospel song.
Yeah. If you look at, because I love songs that have more than one meaning. Remember we talked about this with Brown Sugar with D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
When a song can possibly have more than one meaning to it.
Mm-hmm.
Purple Rain, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Purple Rain.
Man, that album, Purple Rain, when Purple Rain dropped, it hit on so many levels. Like I said, not only the album, but then you had a movie come behind it.
Right.
And then you got Apollonia going out there and purging herself in Lake
Minnetonka.
And then the purple motorcycle and March Day and the time and the battle and it was a great time to be alive. Yes, sir. They'll do the bird. Hallelujah. That's what he said.
That's what he said. Yes, he did.
Everybody. But yeah, I mean, Purple Rain took Prince from a great artist to a mega star.
Damn near untouchable. Yeah.
The only comparison was Mike.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I know people debate about Mike and Prince. Who's your favorite? To me, it's Prince. Give me Prince all day, every day. Love Mike. But Prince was a musician.
He was pure musician.
He was a pure musician.
Yes.
I mean, from playing every instrument on albums to the writing to the production, all of it. He was just a pure musician. And then, like I was telling you off air, and like I said, I think it was Stevie Ray Vaughan that said that Prince was your favorite guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably the best guitarist to ever live.
Yeah, some people gonna holler at you about that because oh boy.
Holler at me.
I can't think of his name. What's the brother who he set his guitar on fire on one of the stage shows?
Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix, yeah. You might get a lot of pushback.
I mean, he was great on the left-handed guitar. I'll give him that. But Prince arguably is the greatest guitarist we have ever seen. Even with the Stevie Ray Vaughan and the Jimi Hendrix and the BB Kings and the list the list goes on and on when it comes to guitars. Now the Eddie Van Halens and all of those guys, Prince was right there with them. But yeah, he was just a pure musician that made great music. And I think you said something, Chad, we were discussing off air that, we don't really give folk flowers when we're supposed to, when they're living. And we take advantage and we take for granted what they brought to the culture.
Right.
And I think Prince was one of as beloved as he was, I don't think he got enough love.
He didn't, because he was controversial in my eyes. Well, see, like I said off air, real quick. Like I said off air with you, I said I think Michael may edge him because Michael was more pop mainstream. Prince was the same pretty much, but Prince was more controversial. And at that time, the mid '80s, early '90s, that was a
Mhm.
faux pas.
Yeah.
Now Prince will probably have him. Prince will probably be up there by himself because now a lot
Yeah.
of things are way more accepted than it was,
Right.
back
Mhm.
then.
Mhm.
Mike was just more mainstream and safe.
And then plus Mike had all that and plus Mike has all the Jackson 5 stuff.
That's true too. He started
So,
young,
so
young.
yeah, yeah. So Mike started, Jackson 5, little dude, and come up through the ranks, yada yada yada. But for me, it's just Prince and James Brown, Prince, and everybody else.
Mm.
To me,
As far
when,
as
when as far as everything,
okay.
I mean, you're not going to find a better performer, producer. Now he wasn't a songwriter because he did a lot of ad libbing, but as far
Oh,
as performing,
James Brown.
James,
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
yeah, you who better than James Brown? Because if there's no James Brown, there's no Prince and there's no Mike.
Mm.
So he's the Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, and Prince is right there. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's a little below James Brown, but he's the next guy for me. And some
Mm-hmm.
say Mike, some people will say Mike, but like I said, for me, it's James Brown, Prince, and then it's everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you picked a good one today, bro. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah, I had
it's
to, man.
a
I was like, this one right here is
yeah. You had to be outside. When Purple Rain come. Yeah, you had to be outside when that thing dropped, boy. That, like I
true.
said, it took that dude to a whole nother level,
It did. It
man.
did. It carried him for quite a while. It did.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
did. So, folks, that's your classic album of the week, Purple Rain. And that's when he was with the Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
the OG group.
You're right. Right.
So. But yeah, now we will move on to the Bible scripture of the week. We gonna go from Prince to the Bible.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Yeah.
But that's what we do, folks. That's what we do.
Hey, that's what it is.
That's what we do. So today we're coming from Romans chapter 15, verse 5. Romans chapter 15, verse 5. And the Bible verse is, may God, who gives this patience and encouragement, help you live in complete harmony with each other, as it is fitting for the followers of Christ. And I think we need
Mm.
that at this day and age with all this stuff that's going on. The war that's going on, no matter how you look at it, you for it, you're
Mm-hmm.
against it, whatever the case is. Like I say, and I'll read it again. Romans 15, chapter 15, verse 5. May God, who gives this patience and encouragement, help you live in complete harmony with each other, as it is fitting for the followers of Christ. So we need to take God's patience and his encouragement and figure out how to live with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In complete harmony as best we can.
Right. Right.
As best we can. So yeah, just a little word for the food for thought, I guess, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add on that, Pete?
No, just as we end every show, how I like to end every show is, first love yourself. In order to love on everyone else, you have to love yourself first and love your people, man. Love everybody around you, family, friends, uh, co-workers, whoever the case may be, whoever needs love, man. Just love on them, give them a hug, tell them that you love them, put your arms around them. But yeah, love yourself first, then love your people, man.
And I know it's cliche, but truly love does conquer all. Because
Yep.
if you
Yep.
go back to the Bible, and I forget the scripture, love is patient, love is kind, and it lists the myriads of things that love
Mm-hmm.
is and what it's capable of doing. And at the end of the day, ultimately, God is love. So if we all
Yep.
just focus on that, a lot of grievances and differences can be resolved
Mm-hmm.
so that we can get along.
Yep.
But I'll end like I always end with the famous quote from Marcus Garvey, and it's never forget that intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden. Therefore, remove yourself as far as possible from ignorance and seek as far as possible to be intelligent. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Ourvoice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. Be safe, be blessed, and we are out.
Peace.